place. Thank you. Just talked to the president. He said be sure and welcome all of you on his behalf. He'll be here throughout the day, and so he'll be mingling in the crowd. And we're excited about this day. It's a big day for the George W. Bush Presidential Center. We had a dedication. It's hard to believe. We started this beautiful project, a little over a couple years ago. We had a fabulous dedication in February. And in the last 100 days, we've had about 100,000 people go through the museum. So it's up and alive and running, and it's just a fabulous facility. I've talked to a few of you already as you came in this morning. I know some of you haven't had the chance to go through the museum yet, and I certainly hope you take an opportunity to do that sometime today. This beautiful project that was dedicated in April is in large part to many people had a hand in it. Mark Langdale was then the president of the George W. Bush Foundation. He certainly did a wonderful job of overseeing the building and construction of this fabulous facility that we're seated in today. Jim Glassman, who's you'll be hearing from shortly, he was the one that kind of launched the Institute and launched it several years ago. And it's up and running. But a couple of weeks ago, and when we took a little pause, actually, I guess I would say after the dedication, I mean, just all the energy and all of the activity that went into the dedication moment and the day and getting everything ready. It was phenomenal, all the hands that were involved in that. Maybe you would say we had a little pause. In early September, we were thrilled to announce that Margaret Spellings, Secretary Margaret Spellings, was coming to lead the foundation. So she has been here for a couple of weeks, and the place is beginning to kind of shake again, and started to feel a little tremble. We're delighted to have her. Listen, I do want to thank, we've got a number of sponsors. I want to thank Pioneer Natural Resources for their sponsorship of this day, for the Hirsch, and for Highland Capital, NRG. All four of those are very generous sponsors of ours. I want to say just quickly that this center is all about freedom. And we think of it broadly. We think about democracy and freedom. We think about health and freedom. We talk about education. We talk about freedom from ignorance. This conference today is all about economic freedom, which is one of our focuses here. And I so remember then candidate for governor of Texas, George W. Bush, coming to Midland, Texas, and talking about economic growth and the fundamental principle of it. And the fundamental principle is government does not create the wealth. The private sector creates the wealth. And government's responsibility is to create the environment for the private sector to do what it does so well, which is to create the wealth. And simple kind of principles apply to that. Today we're going to talk about regulation and how it can either facilitate growth or stifle growth. The way we thought about it in the Bush administration was when it comes to regulations or rules or policies, if it makes it harder to compete, it's probably not a very good idea. If it makes it easier to compete, it's probably a pretty good idea. And I think that's the president talks so much about just core beliefs and fundamental principles that should drive policy and drive thinking. And it's those kind of fundamental principles that we certainly were applying during the Bush administration. Energy, we all know, it's breathtaking what's going on in the energy space today. I mean, I think you can think all the way back to Sir Francis Drake in 1859 and the discovery of oil in Titusville, Pennsylvania. and kind of relate what's going on today to that, because we've unlocked these vast resources across this nation, across North America, and I will eventually be around the world. And I think that's all about, and I think about kind of when this really took off was this past decade, in the middle of, say, 2004, 2005. And so the industry felt the right environment to take risk and be innovative and deploy capital. And it's working in spades. It's working so well that it might be an interesting fact for you to know that the United States of America is once again the #1 producer of oil and gas in the world. We lost that spot about 15 years ago to Russia. We once again, during the course of this last 12 months, were the #1 producer of oil and gas in the world. So, we're excited about that here at the Institute, excited about talking about energy and the future of it and regulations, and we're fortunate to have a leader in our economic growth project of Amity Shlaes, has led that project, economic growth, and we've got 4% growth is what we focus on. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Ambassador Jim Glassman to kind of frame the day and get things going. Thank you all for being here.